Hello and welcome back to my series in Factorio in which I'm attempting to build my very first mega factory. My name is Azrael. Come along with me as we continue our adventure. Now, in previous episodes we got our oil barrel delivery system, but it's not quite up to snuff. As you can see there, my little indicator says that we're still really low on oil. I'm going to take a few steps here to try and increase the throughput. And part of that involves adding some more empty barrels to the system so that ideally, as soon as a train shows up, it can grab those barrels or drop them off and then just be on its way again. And it's set up to where it needs 50 empty barrels or 50 full barrels, depending on which station we're talking about. And also that it does not fill 50 barrels in the time it takes for this train to make one full trip around. But we can boost it up to where it is pretty darn close. And just making sure the numbers are going up. There's some more research. We've now got 3 technologies before we finish the tree entirely. Alright, that was actually pretty fast there. You notice that the train was only there for a few seconds with all these speed modules that I've added to the system. And here it comes back again, drops off, and then takes off again. That's actually really fast. I think that will help tremendously, getting more oil put into the system so that we can produce the massive number of plastic and other products that we need. Alright, I'm also going to put some more empty barrels into the system on this end so that the train can just show up, transfer the barrels, and then take off again, and then that machine will empty the barrels in its absence. Alright, the next thing I want to do, it is time to craft up some good shields for my power armor now that I actually have the Mark II power armor. So that ought to help out pretty nice. I had that system pumping out level 2 efficiency modules, but I kind of want it to just focus on the level 3, even though that might be overkill in a lot of cases. For the most part it will not, because I will be using them in my furnace array, which will then also be supplemented with some speed modules in some surrounding beacons. So the two effects kind of play off each other. The efficiency modules lower the pollution or the electrical drain on the system, but then the speed module to just boost it right back up. So they kind of have to play against each other as much as possible. So I want some good level 3 efficiency module production underway. And over here I'm also adding some belts to an alien artifact drop box so that I only have to drop them into one place and it will feed all 3. I said all 3, there we go. All 3 module facilities. So that'll make that a little bit easier. I don't have to go and drop off and try to split stacks 3 ways in my inventory, which never actually works. Alright, got a few more shields in my power armor there. Also going to put in that Mark II battery because why not? Trust me, it'll come in handy later. Alright, I've still got I've still got 2 shields crafting. There was one that just finished now. Alright, checking out my military facility, I'm realizing that as I want to put stone on the master bus, there's no place to really branch it off and head into the military facility. My mistake here was that I put the military facility too close to the science facility branch, so that those two are actually going to start interfering with each other. I might have to do something about that here in the near future, but in the meantime I've also figured out, some stone, where I can put a stone drop that will feed onto the master bus, and that's going to be over here just north of the oil refinery. Some stone. So I'm going to put in a station up here. If I can figure out how to get my my rail planner to work the way I want it to, there we go. I don't actually have enough rail segments in my inventory, so I'm going to craft up a bunch of those. While that's working, there's the last of my shields. And I'm also going to craft up some night vision goggles because it is really dark right now, and I know that that's really difficult to see sometimes uh, when it comes time to actually put this video on YouTube. The compression can make that pretty difficult to see. So I'm going to put in some night vision goggles, if I can find them in my inventory. That makes things a little easier to see, I think. I mean, let me know if that's not the case, and I'll do something about it, I don't know. But this is going to be pretty nice. Won't be fumbling around in the dark so much anymore. Alright, now it's time to hook this back up to the main rail line. But it is so close to this junction. Let's put that off for just a moment. Because another thing that I forgot to do is put up some rail signals to break this thing down into more sections. Because right now it's just one, and then we might as well make this a proper T-junction. If I can find the blueprint in my book. And it turns out that the track that I laid previously wasn't quite lined up where it was supposed to be. So we'll go ahead and do that. And it's a little hard to see, but there's one signal right here that's just flashing constantly, indicating that it's not working correctly. So I'm going to clear out some trees so you can see what I'm doing. I accidentally pull up some of the rail, but that's okay. I don't get why that one signal's not working. There's nothing interfering with it, so maybe I'll just pick it up and place it back down again, and that fixes the problem. Never quite know how things are working in Factorio's coding, so alright, back over here to our initial problem. I'm just going to turn this into a roundabout. I know a lot of people out there will cringe at the idea of, oh no, it's a roundabout, you're not supposed to be using those. But the thing is that the stone deposit, which is being serviced by the northbound track here, is probably not going to be very busy. So I'm justifying it that way. That, of course, means that I have to move all of this track that I've previously laid. And I also realize that I'm a few construction bots short from the 20 that I initially put in there. That must have been destroyed by some biters while I was fixing or taking care of some of those nests out in the wilderness. Yeah, it happens. They are prone to that sort of thing. They also get damaged by fire, and since I've been favoring the flamethrower almost exclusively lately, it's possible that there was some friendly fire incidents there. So I'll craft up a few more of them in my inventory to bring it back up to 20. And eventually, probably in the next episode or two, I'm going to be adding a robot production facility to my miscellaneous branch over here, so that I can actually start automating, or rather using the robot logistics network a little more extensively. Alright, there is another research down. We've only got 2 more of those left until we finish up the research tree. I kind of want to get it finished before the 0.15 update comes out, because that does drastically change a lot of the recipes, and I really don't want to have to completely change my science facility just for the last couple of technologies. But of course, once the update finally does come out, there'll probably be some additional technologies that'll need to be researched anyway. We'll deal with that when the time comes. This stone facility also is going to be delivering the raw stone up directly into the miscellaneous facility here. It doesn't need to travel all the way back to the master bus just to come all the way back. So I'm going to shunt a little bit of that directly into that line, because it's not needed anywhere previous in the miscellaneous facility. So it's just saving some time there. And then, of course, it'll also give a lot of that out to the master bus to take it up to the military facility where I can craft up some walls and stuff. So everybody wins. Alright, I'm setting up some rail signals around this loop to eventually facilitate trains that have 2 cargo wagons, trying to get the maximum amount of space in there so that as many of them can be waiting as possible. kind of the similar strategy I used in the oil drop-off, only this time we have a lot more room. And who knows, maybe in the future this station can be redesigned to pull double duty, to also facilitate maybe the oil drop-off as well. Because my current oil drop-off can only handle like 6 trains, and in the future I might have to expand that a lot if we're going to be able to keep up with the circuit production that I have in mind. Alright, over here I am adding a stone mine so that I can actually get some stone onto the main bus, or a master bus, or whatever terminology you want to use for today. And once again, I don't have enough rail in my inventory, but craft up a bunch of it. Yeah, one of the first things that I'm going to add in the miscellaneous facility is also rail segment production, so that I don't have to keep pocket crafting all of that. Alright, that's all going. I have a station in the crafting queue, but it's taking a while. So I decided to try to do what I normally do and put a rail signal in its place, but that just wasn't working the way I needed it to. By the time I figured I'll just wait for the station to actually finish crafting. So anyway, here we are loading this onto the train. That's all taken off pretty well. Now I can craft up a cargo wagon in my inventory, but I cannot craft up a locomotive, so I'm going to have to head back into the main factory. I think I have some regular engines in my my junk drop. You can already see that the oil production is picking up. We're up to the yellow status light. So things are plugging along there. Alright, here we go. Setting up the stone train. One of many, eventually. Getting just my standard station drop, where it'll go to the mine and wait for it to fill, or for 60 seconds to pass, and then when it drops off, just wait for the whole thing to be empty, or a period of inactivity. I'm going to set up the stone train color to look a little bit more like stone, and there we go. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Put up some signals around here. Alright, that's filling up pretty quickly. I mean, well, I only have 7 mining drills, so it's not going to be particularly fast, and it might take off before it's actually finished, but that's okay. It's still better than nothing. I figure while I'm here, I'm going to take some of these efficiency modules from my inventory and drop them into these mining drills. But I did not realize that mining drills actually have 3 spots for modules instead of just 2. And it ended up taking 3 level 2 efficiency modules. While I'm here, I also want to set up some defenses. I'm not going to bother with putting a wall around this place, because I actually have some plans here in the next couple of episodes to take care of some of our biter problems for a more long-term solution. And yes, that does include finally setting up the defensive perimeter 3.0. Anyway, yeah, with those efficiency modules, it would put 3 of the level 2 efficiency modules, which actually created more efficiency than the thing could physically handle. So it was just kind of a waste having 3 in the system when it only really gets the benefit from 2. Each of those provides a 40% efficiency rating, and the maximum amount of efficiency that any machine can handle is 80%. So 2 of those level 2 modules are all you really need. Ooh, some stone. Ooh, some stone. Alright, in the meantime, I'm going to clear out some of these biters around here that have moved into my pollution cloud. And now that I have 5 shield levels in my power armor, that makes it almost ridiculously easy to just wade through here and do some damage. I mean, I'm not even setting up a turret creep, because it's not necessary. It takes up way too much time. And in fact, right now, the most tedious aspect of this is having to go back and pick up all the alien artifacts. And that brings me to my next point. In one of the most recent Friday Facts, Actually, a couple of Friday Facts back, they talked about the research revolution, in which their plans for 0.15 means that alien artifacts will no longer be needed for research. And so, what they talked about recently was the fact that that leaves it to where alien artifacts are only being used in a few niche recipes, level 3 modules, and some one-time crafts as far as the power armor goes, and that's about it. So the plan for 0.15, ooh, some stone, is to get rid of alien artifacts completely, because by the end game, they're really just more of a nuisance, and you end up with thousands of them in your inventory that just have absolutely no purpose. So they're just going to get rid of them entirely. And that might actually be a good idea. I don't know, because the alien artifacts provide a nice reason for you to go out and fight the aliens. But I know not everybody likes doing that. A lot of people, it'll actually give you the ability to turn off biters completely in the map settings so that you don't have to fight them at all if you don't want to. They won't even be in your way. Over here in the main facility, I'm adding a belt balancer to my electronic circuits because that's now bottlenecking my research. But yeah, if you don't like having biters at all, not even on a peaceful mode, you can now just set that, or you will be able to at least, set the map options to get rid of them entirely, and it's not going to affect you because you can still beat the game without alien artifacts. So that might be a nice benefit to everyone. And of course, if you prefer having the alien artifacts, I'm sure somebody will create a mod that will put them back in or give you some sort of equal thing. There's tons of mods and mod developers out there. I'm sure somebody can figure that out. So it shouldn't really be too big of a deal. And especially for the late game players, it will make it so that you don't have to spend so much time picking up after yourself. Now anyway, over here in the military facility, I've decided that one way to circumvent my problems without completely uprooting the entire military facility and moving it somewhere else is to just bring the stone line up above everything else and then move my existing racks a little bit north. So that might work. Maybe at some point in the future I'm also going to need to add more things to the bus. I don't know. I might need red circuits for capsule production. I haven't really looked at the recipe for those lately, and I'm sure once the behemoth biters start showing up, the method that I was just doing there previously might not stand up quite as well because they take a lot more of a beating to put down. And just wading in without even a turret creep might not be the smartest idea. Anywho, we'll deal with that when the time comes, though, because I do have other ideas for how we can bring items onto the main bus of the military facility without having to move the entire thing around. But in the meantime, I'm just moving everything up a little bit. Once I can get these belts reconnected, then my ammunition facility is back online. And I'll do the same thing over here for my gun turret production. I'm just going to move the gear production up above like this, and then bring up the iron plates. Because the copper plates aren't necessary for anything other than the turret crafting itself. So it doesn't even need to be brought up. Alright, and that brings that online. Now, I'm going to need some red circuits to craft up some furnaces. I'm going to create these stone bricks on site instead of manufacturing them somewhere else and then bussing them in. There's not a lot of things that need stone bricks. There's only like 3 things that I can even think of that are going to need stone bricks. The walls, furnace production, which I'm gonna need a lot of furnaces in order to keep up with demands in the future, and then concrete. The only other thing that I'm going to need stone bricks for is maybe creating some paths, but I might just leave that all to the concrete in the future. The only thing that I would need stone bricks for is like maybe the occasional pocket crafting of something, like an oil refinery. I believe those use stone bricks as well. I don't think I'm going to need enough of those to warrant uh, automated crafting of them either. And then, of course, the only thing that needs stone that's not crafted into stone bricks is the rail production that uses just raw stone in itself. Anyway, over here I've created a design that is a little bit smaller for the furnaces. I might end up incorporating this into my main furnace area as well. It saves me just a little bit of room by having both the input and output go up the center there by using underground belts and splitters. As you can see, I'm right now just trying to figure out how it's all working, and realizing that a lot of my underground belts are not facing the right way. All right, there it goes. That's bringing the stone all the way to the top. And then once I get everything powered up, it should bring the stone bricks all the way back down. And there it goes. There is wall production. Anyway, that is all the time we have for today's episode. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Azrael. Never stop building.